Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
June 29, 2020, the Second Class Travelers Edition. We start with the story from the Washington Post that Hollywood has thrown in the towel for the summer movie season of 2020, moving Mulan, the last major Hollywood movie set to come out in July, until the end of August. Theaters, or rather the studios, hope that by that time people will be willing to go back in the movie theaters. But frankly, I can't imagine that people are ever going to return to the movies without social distancing and without mandatory mask wearing. AMC already stumbled their toe on this and had to relent. But in terms of what people have become used to over the past 3 months, I think this may portend the end of movie theater going as we know it. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Dylan Tokar reporting in the Risk and Compliance Journal, the Department of Justice 2020 update places a new emphasis on middle management and the use of data. I think the use of data had been talked about in by a fair number of commentators, including myself, but Sally Malloy, whose unit is situated within the fraud section of the DOJ and worked on this most recent revision, said that part of the reason was to reflect the increased focus on middle management to align with growing recognition that top-level executives aren't the only ones responsible for a compliance program. They also quoted April Oliver, Senior Vice President and Associate General Counsel at Salesforce, who had the company's Office of Global Ethics and Integrity, who said it's the job of ethics and compliance officials does not end with access to data. It's figuring out what the right data is and how to use it, capture it, analyze it, and train employees and improve your programs with it. So continued commentary on the 2020 guidance. If you haven't read it, please do so. I have a white paper available on it, and if you'd like it, please email me and I'll get a copy sent to you or send you a link where you can download a copy. I never thought in my lifetime that U.S. travelers would be banned, but the EU is close to barring most U.S. travelers as the bloc reopens. The EU will allow outsiders to begin, but people in Russia are too risky because of the pathetic U.S. government response to the coronavirus crisis. So the list United States now stands in good stead with Russia, which, given Trump's sycophancy to Putin, is probably warranted. But it certainly is going to really damage any chance the airlines have of making a comeback if Americans can't travel overseas to EU or other locations. So once again, the failure of the Trump administration completely in this has devastated U.S. businesses and will continue to devastate the U.S. airline industry. And finally, from CNN, Wirecard's collapse reveals cracks at the heart of Germany, Inc. One of the biggest public companies brought down by the accounting scandal, Wirecard, literally went down in 7 days. So that tells you what a house of cards the entire enterprise was. And for most people, including myself, who, when they think of Germany Inc., they think of quality, they think of trust, they think of accountability. I think Wirecard has devastated that, including the German regulators who oversaw the complete fraud of Wirecard and, of course, did nothing. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.